What is going on, crypto family? So guess who we got here? We got our buddy Charlie. I call him Thor. Wait till you hear that deep, sexy voice that he's got there, man.
Hello.
He's got a face for TV and a voice for radio. It's pretty incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's why I think most of your videos, man, you don't even show your face, right? So this is kind of like
ruin the mistake.
Is that it? Is this like the unveiling of Charlie, or have you done your face before on videos?
A couple times, but yeah.
It's always great to hang out with you, man, at these conferences. And for people that don't know, he's like 20 feet tall. So, you know, I'm like 6 foot, but this guy's like 20 feet tall. So he looks like he could carry me around like a baby. So call him Thor. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you, man, especially, you know, at the Neo DevCon, man, in Seattle this weekend. So
yeah, no, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah. You know, Neo's been one of those projects that I've been skeptical about for a long time, you know, and shares to Neo, to Ontology, and I've been pretty vocal about it. And so when they reached out to me and asked me to cover it, you know, I basically just told them no. But then I asked, you know, the audience, you know, and the audience kept, you know, telling me, hey, you know, we'd like to know more about it. We'd like to do this and do that. And I'm like, well, all right, well, I guess I can do it then. It's not that far. So it's going to be cool to sit down with these guys and actually, you know, hear directly from them, you know, what they're doing. Because I've been skeptical from the start. It's like they have these different projects running in parallel, almost doing the same things. And they try to say, oh, okay, well, this is business and this is consumer. It's like, well, then how come Ontology is doing, you know, the opposite of what you said? It's doing the same thing it's supposed to be doing, right? And you got a lot of the same people, it looks like, and you got Da Hong Fei that, you know, you say isn't part of Ontology, but he actually owns the company that basically owns Ontology, and he's also the guy that owns Neo, and it's like, yeah, exactly, with on-chain. But yeah, so there's, you know, the skeptic in me, right? You know, just, it's like, if you're going in a whole bunch of different directions with different companies, to me, it would make sense to, instead of taking the shotgun approach and having like 20 different companies all trying to do the same thing, why not focus those resources into one company and be really, really freaking kick ass at it? Maybe that's why, you know, I don't think any of their apps are in the top 50 of DApp usage. You know, so, you know, again, I'm sure they're not all bad, and they're doing good things. And a lot of people out there love Neo, and I own coins in both, man. You know, I hedged my bets in the beginning and bought some Neo and bought some Ontology. I've actually been a fan of Ontology, but it's going to be interesting to see what they actually have to say, and if they change my mind, right? You know, because it's possible. Right now, all I got is the research I do. They haven't been very vocal. They haven't really communicated with the community at all. I know they just did a couple, you know, in-depth, you know, I guess kind of like interviews and whatnot with Brad, and that was awesome. But, you know, one of these days I'll sit down and watch the 3 hours of it. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you look and you're like, like 80 minutes. It's like, tomorrow. I don't have that. Right. Damn it, Brad, do a podcast or something, man. That way I can run and listen to it or something. Yes.
Put it on at 2 times speed. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to hanging with you, man. What's your thoughts on Neo and Ontology? I really don't know.
Well, you know, I think they are an interesting project. From the start, I think they've kind of gone about it in a different way than some of the other platform projects out there. Yeah, I've always appreciated their sort of unifying vision of like this smart economy. And, you know, maybe that is a little bit, you know, buzzwordy or whatever, but no, I think that is sort of what we need out of these platforms that we're starting to see evolve and become established. Certainly right now, I think Ethereum is making that sort of step right now, becoming not just a platform, but an ecosystem, you know, trying to map out, this is what I was doing the other day, is trying to map out like all the different facets of the Ethereum ecosystem, how they all sort of interact with each other. You know, like what is Chainlink doing to, you know, help the Ethereum ecosystem? What is Maker and Dai, and how do they affect the overall ecosystem? And just like that sense of that, you know, we can't have these projects that are trying to just like solve everything, you know, solve world hunger and poverty and make the world a better place. And, you know, we need like individual, like really good, almost cogs in the machine to make it, you know, that much better overall. And for them to kind of interact with each other through the medium of that you know, that decentralized, almost ecosystem, or the sort of the unifying glue, be that Ethereum, Neo, whatever. So yeah, I think that's sort of the opportunity. If that's actually been established or is the case with Neo. Not quite. I think they're getting there. I think they're all getting there, and that's kind of, we're in this perpetual hell of development and just continuing to push back dates and oh yeah, no, things will be we'll be good next year, right? Yeah. But no, I think they're making actual progress and actual I think Neo 3.0 does represent a good step forward. I think what we need to see out of this conference is really just I'm going as pretty much a litmus test to say, are they, is this legitimate? Are they actually here to be a contender? Are they, trying to be one of the top platforms out there, or are they just going to continue to fall down the ranks? And, I think they're 17 now or something like that. They used to be a top 10 project. So they need to get back into a top 10 project mentality and, a top 10 project communication and all that sort of stuff, because yeah, it's we're in a time right now where it is very much do or die for these projects, because you can have the best technology in the world, but if no one's using it, who cares? You can have a platform that's got this amazing TPS or whatever, or has got this great platform structure, but if there's nothing being built on your platform, if there's nothing being used, I mean, at the end of the day, networks are defined by Metcalfe's law. Basically, the more people on it, the more value it has, and bigger platforms are going to win out over time. So
no, you're right. It's definitely not the best thing that wins. It's the most adopted with the most people in it, right?
Yeah.
So you've seen that, with DVDs. You've seen that with iFace, right? You've seen, these different things what was it, MySpace, and then you had there was a couple other ones, and then of course Facebook comes along, right?
Sure.
So and there's probably things out there better than Facebook, right? But it's, where the people are at, and trying to get them to leave what they're used to is difficult, right? So with Ethereum's got a great network. They got a lot of different devs out there, a lot of excited people. It's a different community from the Bitcoin community. And then you got Neo, which is different than all of them, right? I mean, they used to label it or dub it, the Chinese Ethereum killer, right? So I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. They have done some pretty cool stuff like Next, their Neon Wallet, all that kind of stuff. They have delivered some cool stuff, and they do have some really good ideas. But again, there's just been these unexplained forks. These things that happen, right? And I get it. Crap happens, right? When you're trying to build something new, but at the same time, there needs to be a little bit more clarity. There needs to be, a little bit more discussion about what it is they're trying to do, how people can help, what their mission is, and a little bit more clarity between the projects and stuff like that. And so that's what I'm really hoping I can gain, from this. I'm hoping they can change my mind, really, because it's not like I'm hating on Neo. It's just I'm not a big fan of the way that they've done their chain so far, and the way that they've involved the community and things like that. So. Ethereum, for its shortcomings and stuff like that. Like I said, it has an amazing community. They're layer 2 solutions, Bitcoin's layer 2 solutions, all these different things that we haven't really seen yet that are coming are going to be incredible, man. And stuff like Neo, when you're charging 500 gas to deploy a freaking smart contract, who the hell is going to use it? They're like, oh, it's cheaper now. I'm like, no, dude. I was talking to their head of BD. And I'm like, she's like, oh, well, it's a lot cheaper now to launch a smart contract. It takes 500 gas. I'm like, that's only because the price of gas dropped, 90-something% like your freaking crypto did, right? I'm like, as soon as it goes back up, the smart contract's still going to cost a butt ton of money, whereas Ethereum costs like $1, right? So, I get that they can give you free gas or, fake gas, maybe too high a protein or too much fiber, whatever. But I get that they can do that so people can try and develop and stuff. But once you want to deploy something of value that people can actually use, you got to fork out a lot of freaking money. And they don't talk about that. A lot of people don't. And so that's one of the things that I look at is these barriers to adoption, right? It should be cheap, man. It should be almost free. If you want this stuff to succeed, they need to give the resources to the people and just let them build on it and not charge them 500 gas. What would be great, man, is when they start building blockchains where, the transactions are actually free. There's stuff out there, that, let's see, what is the one out there that is free? It's, I always get it confused. It's old school too, man. Geez. I'm drawing a blank right here. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what we need is like stuff that's like free to use, and they somehow monetize it other than, you know, from the actual, you know, the builders or the people. There's got to be a way to do it, but we're not quite there yet. So anyways, I'm really, you know, excited to see what they're going to see if they can change my mind and show me the roadmap and all that.
Sure.
Kind of cool.
What would convince you, like, definitively, like, oh, okay, yeah, these guys are legit. They're, you know, they're worthwhile of, you know, like investing time or money or whatever, or following basically. You know, would there be something in particular that would, you know, you would walk away from this conference and say, okay, Neo, good job, Neo. Like you guys are on track.
See, I'm one of those people that's a little different than others. I actually connect more with the people, right? And so like when it's like, even when I bring on partners for my companies, you know, it's not necessarily, you know, it's the horse, it's the jockey that I bet on. So I like to look these people in the eyes and just see if they're, you know, full of crap. And so, you know, awesome. If they have, you know, like a genuine heart and they're actually like really trying to deliver, or you just kind of see that they're evasive in questions, or they're not really transparent, and there's a lot of, you know, shadow words and all these things that they're doing that's like, I don't know, man, I don't trust you, right? So I just want to sit down, look them in the eye, and see if they're really telling the truth. And if they are, that's great, right? I want to, you know, I want blockchain. I don't care who it is, man. I want it to succeed for the benefit of the masses, right? Mm-hmm. So if they can actually, you know, deliver and show me like a roadmap and how they're going to, you know, kind of alleviate these huge fees that it costs to deploy smart contracts, and actually the stable chain, and show all their different layer 2 solutions and the separations of powers, and how it's actually going to end up being decentralized. It's not just Neo controlling all these freaking, you know, super nodes, and, you know, it's like, come on. It's like Binance's, you know, DEX, right? They're like, yeah, it's decentralized. Well, who owns all the nodes? Us. You know, it's like, come on, man, it's not decentralized. You're just calling it a DEX, and you control all the nodes. Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to look them in the face, look them right in the eye, and just, you know, have them tell me, you know, what their plan is for the future and how they're going to help people with this change. So,
no, that's awesome. Yeah, that's precisely what we need to be doing from now on, or, you know, forever and always, is, you know, getting the sense of, you know, what is the overall mission you guys here. But really, you know, I've always felt when it comes to evaluating a project, you know, I don't care how much people know until I know how much they care. And like that, like, transcends everything else, especially when it comes to operating in this sort of like state-of-the-art space where, you know, yes, we're still in that era where, you know, it's selling dreams, or, you know, like, you know, selling a white paper in a dream, and that's defines sort of the space. But I think we're moving beyond that. And right now, for me, it's all about survivability, and it's all about longevity, and like really just, you know, seeing if these guys can deliver, because we are in sort of that make or break period. The project's runways are starting to run out. You know, there's definitely, we're sort of watching projects die, and like that's, you know, it's concerning, but at the same time, it's like only the strong survive, and that's good. We need that. We need strong projects going forward if this space is to be taken seriously. So yeah. The days of white paper promises, I believe, are dead. Yeah. So, you know, that's why even like with my project, you know, we built Monarch before we, you know, did anything really, before we told anybody we were coming. But sorry to interrupt, man, but guess who we got here? So, what's up, guy? How you doing? You're looking good. You got a haircut and a little bit of a shave. Yeah. No, we don't look quite as identical, but yeah, for people that don't know, this is my oldest son, Aaron. So he's the guy behind the scenes that, you know, keeps us on track and makes all the magic happen, right? Easy to just get up here and yak, man, but he's the guy that makes it all happen. So love this kid. Yeah. I started really early, man. So at 14, I've been with his mom, right? So we had him at 17 years old. So as you can see, you know, he's a monster. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. I can't wait to hang out. Yeah, dude. Nice beard, man. We're the bearded. Yeah. Oh, I'm taking after Big Papi here, so. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll get to it in a second. See you, man. Yeah, but white paper promises are dead, man. You got to deliver. Talk is cheap, man. Proof is in the pudding. So, man, what do you think about all these exchanges? People just still don't get it. It's like I've told people from the beginning.
from the beginning. Like I've been telling people, make sure that you control your crypto, man. Make sure you have your private keys. It's like, why are you so freaking lazy? You're leaving it on the exchange. It's like, oh, well, my crypto doesn't have a wallet. I'm like, well, then your crypto ain't a crypto. It's a freaking crap coin, right? So, it's like if you bought into something that doesn't have its own wallet to house it in, to carry it in, dude, that's not a real project, right? I mean, something should support it, right? I get it that there's, crypto companies out there, blockchains that maybe don't have their own wallet, but they have supported wallets, right?
Right.
And so unless you're a day trader, swing trader, something where you're just constantly moving crypto in and out all the time, dude, there's no reason to be leaving your crypto on these exchanges, man.
Yeah.
Just like Andreas Antonopoulos has been saying for years, not your keys, not your crypto.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I think we're kind of an interesting period right now because we're starting to move towards decentralized exchange solutions, but I think we're still kind of toeing the water and trying to get the model down. And I think what we need more than anything right now is sort of like almost a hybrid where we have sort of the interface of centralized exchanges, sort of the user interface, the user experience, but the security and just the like all the basically the features we need with decentralized exchanges, because we can't have stuff like Quadraga or how do you?
I just call it quad rig. Like it's rigged. Quad rig.
There you go. Yeah. Stuff like that just can't happen anymore. We like
Mount Gox, quad riga. I mean, there's been so many of these things, right? Then you just had what was that? Cryptopia, right? So
yep.
Yeah, so many different things all the time. People just losing their money. They're like, oh man, what happens? Like, well, not your keys, not your crypto, right? I mean, I feel horrible for them, but it's like, dude, there's lots of stuff out there, man, that they can do, to protect their crypto. Just take it off the exchange, make sure that they have it. So yeah, it's a shame, man, that stuff's happening. But now they're actually looking and trying to find some of these addresses. I mean, do you think that it's rigged, like a big exit scam? Do you think this guy's really dead? Or do you think that this is just utter incompetence, right? Where they just had one guy with all the keys and $190 million, he died and everything died with him? Or do you think that this guy just spent some of that money? Because there was some transactions in December, right? A lot of money, a lot of Litecoin, right? So maybe he paid for a new face and a new identity and paid for a death certificate, right? Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to assume the worst, but if it smells like it, if it, like there's smoke, there's fire, man.
Quacks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a freaking duck, right? I don't know, man. Like even they had the auditing company that went in there and they're like, oh wow, by the way, they lost 103 Bitcoin on January, February 6th. So I guess that these guys, in their sheer incompetence or just finishing off the exit scam, they moved another 103 BTC from their hot wallets to the cold wallets that they supposedly don't have the keys to. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, yeah, we have no access to these accounts, so let's send the last of our Bitcoin to it.
Oh, man.
Right? I mean, come on now. What's going on here? Is that just you just sheer incompetence, or let's just finish off the exit scam?
It concerns me because of the optics of it. Obviously, it was like all over the place on the news. There was like on the front page of Reddit the other day, and just like, man, that's not good, because there's more laymen's that that come away with the perception basically that Bitcoin and crypto is a scam, and it's just not good. But maybe that is we're still still trying to fight out of that period, that era of basically the ICO, and I think that highlights sort of the need, or hopefully where we're going is not this, because I hate it. It's so frustrating because we're so much better than this and we know it, but we just keep getting bogged down by these events, and it's concerning. But as you said, like, people need to be very cognizant of how dangerous it is to keep their cryptocurrency on exchanges. I saw some article that they audited or looked at the security of like the top 100 exchanges, and most of them got like terrible grades, or could be easily hacked, or stuff like that. And you look at the top 100 cryptos as well, and a lot of them can be, they can easily be 51% attacked, and like, this is just, it's concerning because there's going to be more of these hacks. There's going to be more of these brute force attacks, and it doesn't speak to the soul of the space, but it's unfortunately the nature of the things. So yeah, I hope we can move past this as soon as possible.
The thing to remember, is like in business too, 90% of businesses fail, right? So we know that in crypto, 90% at least are going to fail. Mm-hmm. And so, when you're looking at all these different chains, exchanges, all these kinds of things, I mean, people really need to do their homework, right? Before either A, put their money there, or B, put money into that, like invest in it, stuff like that, because there's a good chance, what they invest in today is gone tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And they put their money on an exchange, it's here today and it's gone tomorrow, right? So even like Coinbase, it's like, it's one of the most respected in the business, right? Because it's got that streamlined user experience, right? It's like Facebook. You just hit the little thumbs up button and, hey, we're happy, right? We're kind of lacking that in the decentralized space. But even with Coinbase, man, they say that they're insured, but from what I hear, it's only 2% insured, right? So if they get super hacked, if they get a super hack and like all that money freaking goes, who do you think is going to get that 2%, right? So it's just not worth it to keep it there, right? So it's scary stuff. But, like you said, we know where we're going. We know where we're going. We're going to get some awesome stuff that's going to come out. It's going to change the world. And we're on the road to it right now. There's going to be a lot of stuff that gets 51% hacked along the way, and a lot of exit scams, and, people that just fail because, they don't have the resources. They don't have the money. Crypto went down. They can't make payroll. You're going to keep seeing this more and more and more. But at the end of the day, we know where we're going, and there's going to be something that's awesome that works. And people are going to start coming into this thing in droves, and hopefully it doesn't take a financial crash to get people into crypto, right? Hopefully it's just some tech. But
I think that's sort of the opportunity. Or if you were talking broader scale,
evil man.
Well, I mean, I think crypto has everything to gain right now in terms of the overall global market. We are the I don't know, anti currency, or anti space as it relates to there's just a lot of very concerning things going on in the global financial system. And I don't want to be a doomsayer or anything like that. I think there's still things that are working or functioning as intended, but I think we're quickly entering a period in time that what was the article today? It was like 22 trillion in debt now in the US. Like, that debt is like the new money. And what happens if we start to get like a run on the bank type style, just like
that's awful, right? But what people don't understand too is ever since like the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 went right there, they inked it, it was actually Dr. G. Edward Griffin, I think, talked about it in The Creature from Jekyll Island, right? So on Jekyll Island, when they pinned the act, the Federal Reserve Act, I mean, we've lost like 99% of our value of our fiat since then. People don't understand that, right? And so when they're talking about, Bitcoin, I heard it's volatile, it's this, it's that. It's like, dude, this thing was like less than a cent, when this thing came out, right? And now it's, it's still at over $3,000. Look at any dollar. Every single fiat supply has failed. Every single one. There hasn't been one that's, that's managed to survive and keep, its value. No matter what, even if it's still in existence today, whether it's the euro, the dollar, whatever, hyperinflation, inflation, whatever, has hit it and hurt it, and it hurts us holding it while they just keep printing more and more of it, making it worse and worse on all of us. Or with like things like Bitcoin, they can print paper and do these like different indexes and ETFs and futures and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's 21 million Bitcoin, maybe only 15, depending on how many's been lost, stuff like that. That's unless the core team decides to print a bunch more, which could happen. People don't talk about, that could happen, right? But that would upset a lot of people. But things like that, man, is where people can actually store value. I don't think it's really the thing that people are going to be using to pay their bills in. A lot of people say, Bitcoin is that, but I really think it's going to be a stable coin, a real true stable coin that I think is what we really, really need. Not one that they can just turn off because Uncle Sam says you're a bad person, right? So, and that's what we're starting to see more and more of, right? So, it's a stable coin, but guess what? We can seize your funds. It's like, awesome.
I mean, from as we were talking about earlier, it's the biggest network that wins, and there's no bigger crypto network than the Bitcoin network. There's no network that's as ubiquitous or as, understood as much as the Bitcoin network. And I see Bitcoin as the new TCP/IP. It's going to be the core protocol layer of this new decentralized network, whatever it looks like. You say like the same things in the internet, where TCP/IP hasn't changed since the 70s, but we built on it, and we built scaling solutions, we built infrastructure layers, and you can't touch the core protocol layer, but everything has been built on top of that. So I think the same thing is inherently the case with Bitcoin. It's going to be this new, I don't know, transaction network or store of value, as you said. Just the base layer of whatever this new decentralized network is. But I think that's incredibly interesting, and kind of speaks to where we're going. And yeah, like you said, it sort of is incorruptible almost. It will become sort of the thing that almost saves us from ourselves, because we're definitely in this spiraling debt crisis of sorts. And I'm kind of concerned for how things play out, but at the same time, I see that as an opportunity for like, what is a forest fire? Yes, it burns down the trees, but it allows new growth to occur. So it's the same thing here. We do have a system that, like you said, the fiat, the Federal Reserve. I think there's just inherently there's inherent flaws with the model, and it's always concerned me. And I think we saw that especially in December with Jerome Powell and the interest rates. Oh yeah, we're going to raise interest rates. Oh, just kidding. We're not going to do that. What is he going to do now? Like, go negative interest rates? Are we just going to continue to print money? Like, this is, I think there's huge consequential questions right now being raised about the solvency of the US dollar. And, are we going to experience dollar topping in the next couple of years? Like, questions like that, I don't think are getting asked enough. What's going to happen with the other asset markets? And, are people going to start moving back into gold and silver, or are they going to try to lock it up in real estate? Like, what are we going to do?
Quantitative easing, man. They're just going to keep printing paper, man. Is they're going to keep kicking that can down the road until they can't kick anymore. They run out of road. But no, it's a mess. But like you're saying, man, with blockchain, all the cool things that can be built on it. All the layer 2, layer 3 solutions. You look at the internet. It gave birth to things like Google, right? Things like Facebook, things like banking, right? So I mean, you got the internet. Then you put Wells Fargo on it, then it allows you to, take money in and out of it. All kinds of different, solutions that they've done with it, to streaming, Netflix, to you name it, man. They've done it all, and more is going to come, and blockchain is going to be the same thing. This is just kind of the infantile state of it, right? So many cool things coming. You got Fidelity with 7.2 trillion, and they put a couple percent, into the market cap. That's going to really help with adoption. You got Bakkt, you got people like NASDAQ, right, with them and Van Eck, and then their own thing with was it ELX and BLX and all that kind of stuff that they're doing. So lots of big money is here that's going to start putting more in, and then there's a lot more that's going to be coming in. And so they all see the future, and they can't deny it. 70% of central banks are all saying, hey, there's something to this cryptocurrency stuff. We can print as much as we want, right? So we got to be leery about stuff like that. But even now they're no longer the naysayers, right? They were making fun of all of it. Now they're kind of embracing it. So it'd be cool to see what happens.
So, like, let me ask you this: what is your opinion on sort of what is going to be that catalyst for adoption, or institutional players coming in? Because there is still concerns about. Let's go to the Bitcoin ETF rejection letter, breakup letter, whatever. Is that poorly timed with Valentine's Day, probably? But the two things that the SEC said was market manipulation, market infrastructure. Both of those prevent us from making any sort of decision on an exchange traded fund, something of that caliber for the space. And I am not suggesting that the ETF is what saves us or anything like that, but it's certainly indicative that the SEC is saying these are the big problems with the crypto space. We can't move forward on anything substantial until they're solved. And I would say that the institutions are probably feeling the same way. So yeah, what's your opinion on that?
Well, you have the big institutions that are already basically in compliance with the SEC and FINRA and all these different things that coming in and say, hey, we're here to save the day. We're going to make sure that everything's just the way you want it, guys.
Yeah.
And we're going to get it. We're going to get that stuff. But I don't know that it's, what we really need. I do know that it's going to pump a bunch of money in that's going to make people happy, right? Because they want that bolder return.
Yeah.
So I think once you start seeing these financial institutions start working more and more with the SEC, you're going to start seeing this stuff get adopted. And I think you're going to see it this year. I don't know that it's going to happen, in the next few months, but I definitely think green is coming back, and you're going to have some big players come in this year, and it's going to drastically change the landscape. And it's stuff that we haven't even thought of is going to happen this year. Stuff that's like, holy crap, I had no idea that was going to happen. Boom, it's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting. It is, but again, some of these big players that come in that start printing crypto too with paper, it could have some, adverse reactions and effects that, we really don't want. I mean, if you look at gold, they're trading 360x, paper gold versus real gold, right? So there is the potential to do that with Bitcoin. And the best, explanation that people have said is why it won't affect Bitcoin is because people will take their Bitcoin off exchanges. And so that'll prove that they can't trade the paper. I'm like, well, getting people to do that's kind of tough, right? So, that does worry me, all this paper they're going to be printing. I mean, you look what they do to our dollar. It's possible they can do the same thing to our Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, man, I know where we're going. And, our market cap is peanuts right now, right? I mean, it's our entire crypto market is like 10% of freaking Apple's worth, right? So, that just, you're telling me in these 2,100 cryptos or whatever we have going on right now that there's not an Apple or a Google or an Amazon or Facebook or any of that kind of stuff in there? Of course there is. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just a matter of time before that reflects, in the market cap and people start seeing that green come up. And right now it's been really good for, for us builders to actually build things, right? To actually, we kind of got rid of, some of the people that are just out here to, speculate.
Yeah.
Just, throwing money at it because, some guy on YouTube said, hey, this thing's going to freaking moon, right? So they all threw their, their mortgage money and everything else in it. And then it crashed. And, a lot of those people, the tourists, so to speak, they've left. And so the people that are still here, like yourself, I mean, you're still here and your audience is probably been dwindling, and, you're starting to feel the pain and you're like, oh, hey guys,
we're not slowing
down. You're not, but you're building some really cool stuff though, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
allows you time to focus and to kind of really build. And so, just like with Monarch, man, we just keep dropping tech all the time, man. Mm-hmm. And so when you have all this money that's in the market and everything's just bull all the time, a lot of stuff doesn't get done. And a lot of people, are just making stupid money and nothing's really getting done. But right now, just like in 2014, when we saw this type of market, a lot of really cool stuff got built. And that's what's going to happen this year, man. So end of this year, next year, I think is going to be freaking incredible. And it's going to be, you're going to have a whole new wave of people coming in here saying, I've been in it since the beginning. I knew this was coming, right? So, we're going to see that landscape shift, I think, this year, next year. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you brought up a lot of really good points there, and I agree with a lot of them. I think solving the questions of scalability, solving the questions of, like what is a good crypto project? We just haven't really, we're still kind of on the back end of the ICO wave, if you will, and sort of where do we go from here? We raised all this money, we had, we sort of developed this crypto ecosystem. What do we do with it now? And how do we start to move in the direction of user adoption and institutional adoption and things like that? Definitely, I'd say very good points regarding just, I have the same concerns about the paper Bitcoin, because I mean, that's what Wall Street does. It's what's the term? Rehypothecation and commingling, these two ways that they basically abstract the amount of underlying assets. People were talking about like, oh, Bakkt is physically settled. Well, yes, but they do that off chain. So I don't know. There's some concern there. I mean, I still think that like Van Eck or like ErisX and Bakkt are going to be ultimately good for the space, but they're going to be dog.
That's awesome. My dog is right here. So.
Yeah.
She is always right at my feet.
Oh my goodness.
Did you hear the dog? Dog. Yeah, really unique, right? I put a lot of thought into it. Believe it or not, this dog right here, it's the wife's, right? You would
Ooh.
never know that. Yeah, you'd never know that. My last dog was 230 pounds, big old Brazilian Fila.
Wow, that's
Yeah, but so he's no longer with us. My
yeah.
mom actually got the dog for the wife, but the dog just took to me like a shadow. It just freaks out. She just freaks out, goes crazy unless she can see me. So she just, basically just lays right at my feet, follows me everywhere.
Oh,
So, yeah, you want her to bark though, unless you got a Cheeto. If you got a Cheeto, she'll bark.
that's awesome. Yeah, I share the sentiment though. Like I'm very excited for the next year. I'm very intent on seeing what we can do, because a lot of times it's the stuff we don't even anticipate that affects us, or both good and bad. But I think where we are right now, it's the point of maximal adversity is sort of also the point of maximal potential, and we are certainly seeing that now. We've gone through a year of a bear market. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another year or so ahead of us. But at the same time, like you said, we haven't stopped building. We're still working on this stuff. We're still passionate that we've gotten rid of a lot of the people that were here for, there's a great book, I can't remember who it's by, but it's called Crypto Assets. And it talks about the need to move from speculative value into utility value. And that's exactly what we're in right now. We're in this transition period. It's never going to be easy. It was never going to be, think about it. Like we went through this huge ICO, swing up to the upside. What are we going to have to do, or where does that go? And unfortunately, the answer is we're going to have to slow down and build stuff and kind of figure things out. And once we've started to get back to the plateau of productivity, that's when we'll start to see things come back up. And I don't think it's going to be this, oh, hey, crypto's back, bull run, woo! It's not going to do that again. I mean, we'll see something like that, but I think it's going to be much more slow and measured this time. And certainly, like I said, we're in this position of really, there could be a lot of advantageous type things coming our way, where we have everything to gain, and the global financial system has everything to lose. I think we're primely positioned to act upon that. And I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see how things transpire over the next couple of years. I think we're just getting started with this space, and that's I hope that's not like a delusional statement, but I don't think it is. I think we're when you talk about the basis of disruption, faster, cheaper, more secure, and I think blockchain is still working on some of those aspects, but definitively, I think it will, in time, prove to be substantially better at all three. And it's also just inspiring this movement. Think about what's happened over the last 10 years. I think it's incredible what we've built and how far we've come. And anyone who is saying that the space is a scam, that Bitcoin is going to die, go to zero, whatever, isn't paying attention or is spouting their own ulterior motives. I think we are definitively in the era of moving past that initial question of like, what is the space? What is it doing? Is it legitimate? I think we've moved into this era where we're proving, yes, we are legitimate. Yes, we're building something that is disruptive or evolutionary. It's extremely exciting to be a part of. So for those who are still around, good job. We've probably got some tough days ahead still, but I think the ultimate longer vision is one to be proud of, one to be to champion, and I'm just honored to be a part of the space as early as it is. I think we will see the space start to really inspire people, start to lead to sort of things we can't even think about right now. It's cliche to say that this is the internet in the 90s, but I mean, think about what that actually means. It wasn't just the underlying technology that was important. Yes, the internet is very important, but it was what it inspired people to do. It was what people built with it that really, defined what it was. So I think we're in that transition period right now where we're trying to find the killer app or the killer ecosystem that defines the next 10 years or 20 years of crypto. And and then I don't know, it's going to be
Off to the races.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm still just as convinced as the the first day I got started with crypto that we're here and we're doing something special. So yeah.
Yeah, what I'm really excited about is the things that we just haven't imagined yet that are actually going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, it like I was talking about these adverse reactions and actions and things that you just have no idea what's going to happen. But what I find, I'm using is so many people are building stuff that there's already centralized solutions for that are fine.
Yeah.
Trying to incorporate it on the blockchain, and they're just kind of reinventing the wheel, throwing like blockchain iced tea. They're just throwing blockchain behind it. And so we're going to see, lots and lots of these things get weeded out still in the future. And these people have been funded well, right? Some of these things have been funded really, really well. Yeah. But it's the ones that you never see coming, man, from the little 10-year-old kid or the 15-year-old kid that just comes up with something crazy, right? And it's like, oh yeah, now it's on the blockchain, and it just freaking everybody jumps over. And like with Monarch, I wanted to create a financial platform in the palm of your hand. You don't need 50 different service providers, 50 different things you have to log into. A way to take your money and your investments anywhere in the world with you and have access to them, right? Nobody can turn them off. So things like that, things that, I can't even imagine, right? Just who knows what it's going to be, because I can't imagine it, but they're going to happen. It's going to be freaking awesome. Right. So, it's the regurgitation of stuff that kind of makes me sick. When you look and you see, it's like, oh, great. You just,
good word choice.
You just found a way to do something we don't need. Great. But you raised a lot of money. Awesome. Okay, cool. So the cool stuff that's coming is what I'm really excited for, man. It's not all the green that everybody's, everybody's really, deep down hoping for, but it's the cool tech, man. I know that it's coming, man. It's going to be awesome.
What are you most excited for?
When you say like most excited, as far as workable tech, that's
what just gets you like, you just like, you're sitting in the shower or, you're like going to bed at night. You're like, oh, damn, I'm just so excited for this. I don't know.
Well, there's a couple things. Obviously first, I love my family, right? So Christian, God.
Good answer.
That first, and then Monarch's my baby, right? So it's something that I can actually, give to the world for free, right? So it's, every day, man, I got my head down, just building, adding more partnerships,
cool.
Yeah, so something like that makes me really excited. Like when you download our wallet, right, and you're able to buy and sell crypto by hooking it up into your bank account or your credit card and putting it right on a decentralized wallet where you control your crypto. You have your keys, you have your seed. Now we partnered with like Celsius. Now you can get interest and you can do loans and you can do all these cool things that we're doing, like merchants that want to take crypto but be paid in fiat, all this stuff, man, before we're even like trying to raise money and stuff like that. Or this is mostly all funded by myself and by Snay. And that gets me excited, man, is dropping like real value that people like every day, getting those comments, getting those emails, like on our Telegram group, just saying, man, Beads, I love this thing. This is awesome. Like I had Nick, hit me up on Telegram this morning. He's like, I just bought Ethereum from 30,000 feet. This is the best thing ever. Right. So, stuff like that, just, it's freaking awesome because it's, it's adoption. Right. So, it's not, hey, I got a Wells Fargo app, you know what I mean? Or, hey, I got an ATM card and I can take $500 out. It's like, no, man, these people can take their money anywhere in the world and control it. Nobody can turn it off. Stuff like that, man. Like the stuff that we're doing at Monarch. That every day, man, I'm excited. And all the cool stuff that's coming, it's like, yeah, that does it for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I would echo a lot of that. I think being a part of a system of, this sort of decentralized future that, as we were talking about earlier, what is the average lifespan of fiat currency? I think it's like 27 years, and ultimately it sort of precedes or is tied to the fall of empires, or I'm kind of getting dramatic now, but like this has always been a problem throughout human history is that we don't have sort of this globalized, I don't know, it seems like this has been a problem that has placated us since the conception of transactions or monetary exchange or anything like that. And so building a better system, building something that is more representative of, just the individual freedoms of the people that are transacting, and, getting away from this stuff like quantitative easing and fractionalized reserve. And, what is fiat? It's Latin for let it be. It's literally, let's just make it up.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
What could go wrong?
You're right. I think we need to move past this, just for the betterment of you know, I mean, like, yeah, the internet was the same way. Like, let's have a communication layer that transcends all nationalities and creeds and allows people to you know, transact information instantly. You know, I look at something like Wikipedia, and I think that's one of the most impactful things that's ever happened in the human race. And you know, it's just a website, you know, like it's I think we're in such an interesting point of history, where we're building these tools that are going to essentially help us for, you know, I see the foreseeable future. Yeah, I think there's a lot that still needs to be done and a lot that still needs to be proved. But you know, that's what gets me excited, is I know that this is part of something, or the start of something very impactful, very beneficial. And no, I don't want to say something as blasé as changing the world, but like I think about the statistics of like 2 billion people don't have access to bank accounts, and like, what does that mean? I think that's a failure of our current system to, you know, meet the needs of people that, you know, it's not like they don't need bank accounts. They do. They need the ability to store and transact value, and, you know, be their own bank, sure. But I think we're in a very interesting point in history. So yeah,
there's so many cool things, man, with blockchain. You know, like I mean, just crowdfunding. I mean, you look at that, right? Say you got a great idea, you know, like, hey, Ready Set Crypto, I want to create you know, whatever, and I need to raise, you know, 50 grand. Oh,
yeah.
Crowdfunding right there on the blockchain, right? So you got companies out there doing that now. So, and you don't need, you know, like you could do Kickstarter and they take a chunk and you got to wait 4 weeks to get paid. These other platforms out there now, you get paid as soon as the crowd sale ends. So as soon as the crowdfunding ends, boom, you get paid. So many different things like this. And I misspoke. It wasn't Nick that told me at 30,000 feet he bought Ether. It was Mr. Chris. So I don't want to get scolded. So sorry, brother, Mr. Chris. So yeah. Sorry, I misspoke. Nick hit me up about other stuff. So but there's so many cool things coming, man. And so it's easy to be a bear in this market, but it's going to end up bearing fruit, man. It's going to bear fruit, though. That's what it's going to do, man. So it really is.
Good pun there.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, we're going to be building some really cool stuff. So it's coming. And yeah, I mean, we've been going for almost an hour. I mean, I could talk to you for, you know, forever. I don't know how long you want to go for, or anything that you want to leave the audience with, or.
Well, just, yeah, I'd like
you want to run naked back and forth through the screen, give them something. That was Vegas. All right, gotcha.
Yeah. we don't talk about that. No, I think we covered it a little bit, but like I think it's worth repeating at this point in time. Just that, you know, if you've made it this far, if you know, are part of the crypto community, that we need your voice, and we need you to continue to, you know, like put out the mission and be a believer, basically, because this is it does require a little bit of faith to be in blockchain this early, but at the same time, hopefully at this point there's you can see the promise of things, and you can see
starting to get it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I think it goes beyond just, you know, monetary, you know, investor return type stuff. You know, I think at this point, being involved at blockchain at this this point in time, you're not only going to get like the value back by investing your capital, but you also, you know, you need to like put in the personal capital of, like, you know, you want to be personally involved with the space, or personally invested to, you know, tell people about it and say, like, yeah, no, it's not a scam. This is something beneficial. I mean, look at the current system that we have right now, and you can't tell me that that's a scam. I'm not going to say it's a scam, but you know, there's clearly huge flaws with it, and I think what we aim to build here is a better system. And you could say that there's aspects of it that, you know, could be better, or, you know, that need maturity or whatever, but I think the overall vision hasn't changed over the last 10 years. I think we're still moving in the right direction. I think we're still making important, impactful things happen. And yeah, I'm proud to be a part of this space, and you know, I'm not ashamed of that. So yeah, but
nor should you be, man. So yeah. you're a great advocate for us all, man. It's a great voice too. Got that sexy deep voice, right? See, there you go, man. We need you in the crypto space, but just because they put their money in these cryptos doesn't mean they're going to get their money back. So remember that, though. If you invest in a crap coin, it's still a crap coin. So yeah, be careful. You might want to re-examine some of the coins and tokens people are holding, right? And always do your own research before you just throw money at something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So on every one of these videos that I do, I always give away $100 of Ethereum. So that way people can actually, do their own research and buy their own crypto. So on the same one here, just like for your audience, for my audience, every single time we do a video, we give away $100. So I'll do the same thing on this one here. It'll be in the description below for peeps. So that way, hopefully you won't buy a crap coin. You buy something good, and then you can ride the green wave up, right?
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
That's it.
Cool.
Well, it's always great to hang with you, brother. I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend. I'm curious to see if
a lot of fun. So, and
awesome.
if you guys haven't gotten your tickets yet, I don't know. It's still not too late, I think, and you can pay in Neo if you still have it. So,
good point. Yeah. So if people want free tickets, I got free tickets. So hit me up. There you go. I'll send you guys, some tickets. You guys want to go to Seattle. I don't know how many I got. I got quite a few. So. Put it in the comments below, say, tickets, whatever, and I'll pick however many people however many tickets I have, I'll pick that amount of people. All right, I'll give away some free tickets.
That's hopefully how it should work.
yeah, something like that. So,
awesome.
Cool, man. Well, looking forward to seeing you this weekend. We'll see if Neo and Ontology changes my mind. I hope they do.
I'm ready for it. I'm either going to see you like storm out of there or be like, oh yes, okay, I'm a big believer now. It's one of the two. So yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm just on the fence, man. I'm not a hater. I'm not really a lover. I've hedged. I own both, but at the same time, I'm skeptical. Right? Anybody that's not. I'm sorry, but you need to question yourself as to why you're not. Right? So we should be skeptical of every project right now. So
good advice.
All right. Cool. All right, brother. Well, great talking with you. God bless. Catch you on the next one.
All right. Sounds good. Take care.